Welcome. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today. And it's a pleasure for me to have the person that we have here with us today. She's been with us before, and we had to bring her back. Um, when it comes to healing, it seems to me that it's the process of healing, but it's that person that guides you in that healing that can make a big difference. That person that guides you and the intention with which they guide can make a big difference in the healing process, whether it makes it more successful, more pleasant, whatever, however we want to classify it. But I like to classify it as truer because I think when we have a healer whose intention is pure, whose intention is benevolent, and whose intention is that of channeling rather than being that recognized vehicle, the process becomes very personal and it becomes very direct and very connected with source. So this is my feeling, my personal feeling. And I think that our guest today would be the embodiment of that. Not only is she a beautiful healer and a very talented healer, but her intention is one of being the vehicle, I think. That's what I have gathered. And her intention is one of sharing and being abundant in that sharing. And so that in turn brings abundance to us and to those of us that are receiving that. And there's nothing like that, to connect with somebody like that. So I wanted to have all of us connect with that today. Her name is Traci Webb, and we've had her here before. She is the founder and director of the Ayurvedic Living School in Arcata, California. She has a bachelor's in psychology from UCI. She graduated from the Healing Hand School of Holistic Healing and also the California College of Ayurveda. And she is now dedicated to the science of Ayurveda. I won't continue introducing her because I think it's really important that she talk and I not take up the time. So let me bring her on with us. And this is Traci. Thank you, Traci. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Margie. Thank you for having me, and hello to your community and welcome. And something about your introductions every time, they bring tears to my eyes. It's just so deeply touching. So thank you for such generous, kind words, Margie. And definitely the feeling is mutual. Right back at you. So definitely, thank you. So yes.
Okay. The last time we were together, we talked about the beauty of Abhyanga.
Yes.
And I've been really wanting to talk to you about that particular subject. And so I want to maybe segue straight to that, Traci.
Excellent.
If you want to talk a little bit about yourself, please do so. But the subject today for us, I think, is Abhyanga, which is such a beautiful subject, such an important subject. So I'll let you talk, and I'm going to get out of the way.
Oh, thank you, Margie. Yes, I love it. And you happen to pick one of my favorite topics within the realm of Ayurveda, which is Abhyanga. I think it's a favorite practice of yours and mine both. And it's interesting, we're in the fall season here, right? So we're actually entering into Vata season. So it's really a perfect time to be talking about Abhyanga because it really is one of the primary, it certainly is like the primary kind of lifestyle therapy that we can give to ourselves on a daily basis, which is going to be so incredibly healing to our nervous system and so incredibly tonifying to our immune system. I just kind of want to give a little background here of like why Abhyanga? What's the big deal from both the Vedic as well as the Western lens? So with Abhyanga, first of all, Abhyanga, Abhi, it means to rub and then anga, the limbs. So what is this Abhyanga we're talking about? It's actually daily warm oil self-massage. So, and we will come into the details in a minute of, how we can do that and what oils to use, etc. But let's kind of give a little background to this, because in Ayurveda, there's the concept of these three doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And actually it's Vata who causes all the diseases. Not all of them literally, but more than 60%. It's around 67%, somewhere thereabouts, because Kapha causes 20, Pitta 40, Vata 80. So of these, and of the classical diseases, and actually what we would say, if we really looked at today's diseases, it would even treat more of them, because many of the diseases that are happening today are Vata derived. They're rooted in Vata imbalance. We didn't even have them classified or have names for them necessarily, things like ADHD or things like this. But we have the understanding of that dosha that causes them, that it's really at the root of them, which is Vata.
And can I interrupt you, because in my process, I found Ayurveda and it helped me so much. So I know that for autoimmune diseases, this is incredible.
Yes.
Imbalance, right? That's where the imbalance is coming.
It is 100%. So like right now on the planet, last I looked, we have over 100 autoimmune diseases that are classified as autoimmune disease. When I was first in Ayurveda school back in 2000, there was a handful of autoimmune diseases. It was like fibromyalgia, Sjogren's, lupus, there was a few. MS, there was a handful of them, but now this is, what is that, 21 years later, 21 years later, and we've got like 80 more diseases classified. And it's this, what does Vata mean in our lifestyle? It means the stress. How does it show up in the day-to-day? It means stress. So stress-induced diseases, and many of the diseases, if we look at them in this day and age, they're a lot rooted in the nervous system. In the Western world, they're calling it the PNI system, or even the psychoneuroimmunology, this new branch, you've probably heard. And even sometimes they'll add in their endocrinology, but these subtle systems of the mind, the nerves, the endocrine, which is the hormones, and then our immune system. So like our immune system then is, and the West is, by the way, they're finally really proving, and they will continue to prove what the Vedics have known for thousands of years, what Ayurveda has known for thousands of years. So I love that whole new body of science that's coming out, because that's Ayurveda. But what we would do is we would say psycho, neuro, digestive, endocrine, immunology, like all of the whole body is really rooted, and the health of our system is rooted in the psycho, neuro, endocrine, so the mind, the nerves, the stress component, in other words, coming back to that. So this Abhyanga, it's the primary daily routine, the primary therapy that we can give to ourselves every day. It's most reducing to the Vata and specifically the nervous system, which is like when you, because I know you love your Abhyanga. I also love my Abhyanga. You and I both, something we also have in common amongst all the other things, is one of our systems of weakness is our nervous system. So of course we're drawn to Abhyanga, right? Of course, because it's actually the lifestyle therapy, which is one of the primary lifestyle therapies, aside from daily meditation and pranayama, the more subtle yogic therapies, that's really going to rejuvenate the nervous system. So it's so incredibly powerful. So absolutely yes. Yes to it healing autoimmune. And even that autoimmune, like beyond the nervous system, is a lot with the emotions, and I'm imagining you and those of you out there who have done some of the Abhyanga, just feeling the emotions that settle, and the emotional body that really is able to be soothed. When we're applying that warm oil in Ayurveda, we say the word for oil is called sneha, or snehana therapies, we call it. So and then another translation of sneha is also love. So we say when you're, I think you knew this from before, right? It's like when we're applying that oil to our body, we're applying warm love to our body. And who doesn't need more warm love, when we're kind of living in a culture that's kind of lacking that mother energy, right? That divine mother energy and that mothering energy, of course, that we all can use more warm love within our system.
Well, and giving that self love, we tend to be our worst critics. And so
Mhm.
making the space for giving ourselves that love, understanding that we do love, the signal that it sends to the body in my mind is, oh, I can relax. I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm safe. I'm loved. And that's where the magic happens, right? That healing process can happen because until then, the body's tight and tense.
Yes, absolutely. So I am loved. And that quality, in Ayurveda, we say, disease happens when the bodily channels are closed. In other words, when the prana and the aspects of prana, one of them is the soma. Soma is like the nurturing lunar mother energy. And if she's not flowing profusely throughout our system, that's where we breed disease. Because disease happens where the prana stagnates. And so bringing in this water element, so oil is considered water element in Ayurveda. And when we're anointing every day, and by the way, it is like, how do we do this process? It's like, we do recommend it to be every day because it really is, and in a perfect world, that's what it would be. For some people, it might be 3 times a week.
Right.
It might even be that you start once a week, but that continuous application on a daily basis is really where the profound results happen, or even every other day, somewhere thereabouts, because it's kind of like in life with happiness. You can have high moments, but to have that sustained contentment and peace, it requires kind of a more regular maintenance job, right?
Well, yeah,
so
absolutely.
so that's what the Abhyanga is actually. To me, it's like the single most simple thing that any human can do that has the biggest transformation instantaneously. It's the easiest thing, because even doing, for example, for some people to sit and to meditate, for some people to sit and to do pranayama, for example, it can be challenging
Yeah.
because there's like the whole series of getting the body to feel good enough through the asana, etc., to prep for that. So, but with Abhyanga is sort of the Ayurvedic equivalent of asana,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So, and
Oh,
I know you're
yeah.
such a yogini.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Abhyanga is the Ayurvedic equivalent of asana in Ayurveda.
that makes sense. Yeah, because when you're performing it, it's ritualistic, really, right? You
It's a
go through
ritual.
all the steps, and then to sit with it, it just brings on that meditation.
It does. To sit with it, what we say, and what we say in Ayurveda is when you're actually doing Ayurveda on a regular basis, the lifestyle and the nutrition, that when you sit on your meditation pillow, samadhi happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because your channels are already open. You're eating the food, which is keeping the not impeding the prana from being blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
what does that feel like psychologically? That feels like emotionality. What does it mean psychologically when the prana is blocked? It means you can't let go of the thought, the feeling, the emotion. And that's really at the root of the disease. The subtle body, in Ayurveda, we're taught the subtle body is actually the blueprint of our physical body. So what's happening at that emotional level, if left unchecked, over time will breed physical disease. Or even for some, if it's really intense and acute, like in the moment of a trauma, an accident or something, that alone could set in disease. And I'm not talking the trauma from the accident, but like it might be psychological, it could be neurological,
It can
so
trigger something in the body.
it can trigger diabetes, all variety, Crohn's disease, it could be anything, fibromyalgia. So getting to that emotional clearing state, and just in the same way in yoga, we do asana, right? To bring our mind away from the 1,000 things to just the 2 or 3 things: the body, the movement of the body, or the slowing of the body, the breath, and the mantra, right? And some that use the mantra, but certainly the body and the breath, slowing down from 1,000 things to 2 or 3 things. Same thing with Abhyanga. We leave the world behind. We step into our Calgon moment in our
Right.
in our right in our home, one of our home's primary healing centers, which is our bathroom. I always call it like our personal healing center.
Mm-hmm.
And your bathtub is like, you know, instead of getting on the gurney or something, you're like getting in the bathtub. So that process of leaving the thousand things and just being there with your body and actually the receiving of the oil, because like you said, it's a gorgeous, glorious daily ritual. It's like it's a worshiping ritual of worshiping the divinity that lives within us, the divine spirit that resides within all of us, and taking that even 5 minutes, if you just start there, to acknowledge and bear witness to that beauty, that grandeur that is you in as life incarnate, right? As soul incarnate.
And I think when you do that, it takes you to a state of gratitude. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
And the body feels that. And we talk about the mind body connection. The body's always listening to the mind. The body's always listening to the emotions. And so it has no choice but to react to them. So when we're bringing this beautiful practice, correct me if I'm wrong, Traci, but when we bring this to practice to ourselves, and when we can really spend the time acknowledging these limbs that do so much, this body that goes through so much throughout the day, but we can start enjoying that so much, right? Through the process as well. It's just it opens up 1,000-fold the possibilities that it brings to us because we settle into it.
Yes, beautifully said. It opens up 1,000-fold. It's like the 1,000-fold lotus of our heart and of our consciousness that gets released in that moment. Mm-hmm. It is, that process you were saying, like gratitude, and that what Ayurveda is really big with is like we access the psychology through the physiology, right? Where yoga kind of really starts at the psychology level. And then it also has ramifications. And most of what we think in the West is more the physiology, but really at its heart, right? It's a psychology system for healing the mind and the consciousness. Ayurveda is really that sister science of healing the body, but in service of healing the mind and the consciousness, so we can be able to sit and meditate and have these deeper, and just be healthy enough to be blissful and connect and live our life and our dharma. So it's interesting when how you said the gratitude, right? So we're in the bathroom and we're doing this practice. It's applying to our physiology this divine oil, this divine love. And as a result, the gratitude happens. As a result, the bliss comes, the soma flows through the system, that nurturing energy. We feel full again, right? We feel like a full moon. In Ayurveda, the symbolism of the full moon is like the symbol of health overflowing, right? And so that's when we're the element of water is really a lot of what we're deficient in. If I'm drinking my water, it's like in life, in order to maintain our life at the highest level, we require hydration. And it's not just actually at the water level of fluids, but it's actually at the oil level, which is continuously sustainingly lubricating. And it's in that deeper lubrication, not only of the physiology, but how it affects the psychology through that prana and soma flowing, that we really maintain that state of bliss. And I think one of the biggest benefits of Abhyanga done on a daily basis is the way we're able to show up differently to those that we love in our community, that we serve, in our family, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's, absolutely. Because I think it begins with ourselves. We think we're doing everybody a service, but we go back to intention, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm tired and if I'm depleted and if yes, I love you, but oh my gosh, all I want to do is go take a nap, or all I want to do is check out, then the intention is there, but the follow through so difficult. And so I think when we're talking about Abhyanga, it lifts us so that we can follow through with those intentions for others, right?
Exactly.
And enjoy it and be fully present and part of it.
Be fully present, be fully part of it, and be overflowing. Like I know you experience this because we're both really big into our Abhyanga, which is why we've been doing this. But it's like how we are able to, we are a different person in the day when we've done our Abhyanga. We are a completely different person, and because we've been fully lubricated and the bliss is flowing. So it's not just flowing, it's overflowing, so that, like, our children are fighting and no problem, we are able to hold space for that and to not drop into that and be taken away by that, right? We're able to be a more powerful container for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our community. And Abhyanga, actually what it leads to is a heightened aura, is a stronger aura. So if you think of one aspect of immune weakness is to have kind of small or gaping holes within our aura. And it's part of why people with autoimmune disease, there can be sensitivity to the senses, like sounds and sights or smells, just all the sensitivities to the environment almost. And it has to do with these kind of holes energetically that over time, little by little, the daily Abhyanga is physically creating a layer of insulation and protection. And what it ends up doing long term is it will actually start to be able to regenerate things like the myelin sheath of our neurons and our nervous system, and also rebuild the immune integrity of our system. The immune system in Ayurveda, we call it Ojas. It's got really two components to it. One is the health component, meaning it makes us be able to withstand physical stress, physiological stress, without getting sick. And that's part of how you know if somebody's immune system is weak, is they can't withstand stress and they are sick easily or often or chronically, right? Like autoimmune disease. And then the other part of the Ojas is the happiness factor. So we call it our health and happiness factor, which is a unique approach to immunity. In other words, immunity isn't just a physiologically based process. It's a psychologically as well as physiologically based process. In other words, our immunity is very deeply rooted in our happiness. Health and happiness factor equals Ojas. So when we're doing this process of putting this layer of oil on our system, it's not only assisting the neurons, assisting our immune system, but it's also, as we're saying, helping to restore our happiness and our contentment very directly through that water element, which in Ayurveda is rooted in soma, which is actually, interestingly enough, it comes from the moon. The moon has a very soft, gentle, motherly, nurturing vibration known as soma. And so when we're doing our oil massage, it's almost like you're pumping into your system the soma. It's literally like the plants, the animals, everything that lives on our planet receives the soma. Originally, it originates from the moon. So when you're drinking water or you're eating a very watery fruit or vegetable like watermelon or cucumbers or even milk, all of those are said to be in Ayurveda really rooted in the nourishing factor from the moon known as soma. So when we're doing our Abhyanga, it's literally as if we're anointing our body with moonlight, right? And then to that moonlight, we've added the various properties of the oils that we've selected. So it might be sesame oil or coconut oil or castor seed oil or whatever it might be. So it's really such a much more deep practice, right, than just throwing this oil on our system. So I'm really so thrilled you've decided to do a whole segment on, what is Abhyanga and why do we do it and how do we do it? So
it's we tend to think only on the physiological, but there's so much to us at so many different levels, regardless of whether we practice yoga or not. But we all know that we have this emotional level, that we have these thoughts that create these emotions, and these emotions that create disease or not disease in the body, or create wellness or imbalance, whatever it may be. And so such a simple gesture toward ourselves of self-love that can be so powerful.
Absolutely. It's the simplest gestures, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to that, the subtle healing that is really so needed in this world. We're so gross is the word, like so physically oriented and out there, but this really is a practice, and coming back to the association with asana, it's really about leaving the thousand things of the world and coming back to the few that are really right within you, where the happiness really is rooted and exists, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And coming to this present moment.
coming to this present moment.
Because the fear lies in what's coming, but this present moment, we're safe.
Yes, absolutely.
And all those worries that are never going to happen
Yes.
just kind of go away, right?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
here in this present moment with this body that we've been gifted,
Yes.
and we are the custodians of this body. So what can we do for it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so that it can do for us.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And that process of like coming back to ourselves and coming back to this body, when we're doing the Abhyanga, it's taking all of I think of it as if you've ever seen the Peanuts gallery as a child growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was Pigspin, I think his name is Pigspin. He has all of these dangling tentacles of dirt, right? It's like the prana, it's like this skewing of prana energetically. So we all can have that. The more we go out into the world, the more we lose our pranic self, and it becomes entangled and latches on to all the various things that we identify and put our energy into wherever we invest our prana. So what the Abhyanga is really doing is it's bringing that prana, it's releasing just in the same way that asana does. It's releasing, it's like it's softening the connection between all of your attachments and your inner heart core self, and bringing all of your energy back home to yourself. And it's really from that space that healing is able to happen, right? Prana is actually the healing energy of the universe and the healing intelligence of the universe. So in that process, we've brought all of our prana back into ourselves. And so it's from that space that we're able to, like you said, be more in the present moment. And we're able to be more contained because now we do have like a sheath around us. It literally does create a shield, an energetic vibrational shield that the world doesn't affect us. We are better able to maintain the connection to our core. Again, water element is a connecting element. It's a connecting element that actually is the seat, which is where prana takes residence. In other words, life happens where there's water.
Right.
So the more that we're able to do this Abhyanga practice, it's disengaging us energetically from the outer world and helping us to reconnect and be deeply, what's the word, like watered within, so that our life force is able to be more contained within our system. And like you said, in the present moment, being able to be more present to our life experience and to those around us. So incredibly powerful.
Yes. Well, and you were talking about prana and coming home to prana. And when we do come home to prana and we are aware of prana, what we're aware of is a sense of balance,
Mm-hmm.
a sense of harmony,
Mm-hmm.
this incredible ease,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of that water flowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All all those things that are contained in what I call the personality of prana,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we are, and ultimately love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
we tap into that, and oh my goodness, yes. Do we love our Abhyanga?
We love our Abhyanga. We do.
Yeah, for so many reasons, for all these reasons.
For all of these reasons. And it's no coincidence that Ayurveda uses Abhyanga as the primary therapy in Panchakarma. Right. So before any other Panchakarma, so I don't know if you know this, but a little bit of my history with Ayurveda. When I first started Ayurveda in 97, I started Ayurveda as an Ayurvedic massage Panchakarma therapist. That's actually was my first gig, quote unquote, in Ayurveda, was not being a practitioner of Ayurveda, but being a Panchakarma therapist and taking people through Panchakarma and offering them Abhyanga. It's what I did every day. And from 97 to 2008, I guided people through Panchakarma retreats and Ayurvedic warm oil massage, right? So this Abhyanga has been a very big part of my life, obviously, and then I've gone on to teach it, etc. But the Abhyanga, again, it precedes everything else we do in the Ayurvedic massage. And if we look at Panchakarma and we look at how it's been kind of presented in the West, most definitely it's been presented as a relaxation, like a week-long Ayurvedic massage retreat. You know, in India, traditionally, Panchakarma is much more about removing the excess doshas from the system, etc. But in the West, it's really, how has it become so popular here? My belief is it's a lot because people have seen the benefits around the neurological system, the deep stress release that we get from it. And what's interesting, just like in yoga, we have asana, but then after asana, right, we leave the 1,000 things to the 2 or 3 things, the body, the breath, the mantra. And then we leave the body and we sit with the breath and the mantra, right? We're leaving one piece at a time. And then eventually we stop the pranayam. In other words, we're doing pranayam for after asana and maybe having the mantra to help us. Then we leave, the breath leaves us and we're just with the mantra. And eventually, you know, samadhi happens. So the same thing with Ayurveda. We have the Abhyanga and we also have the Shirodhara, for example, which might be our equivalent of the meditation, right? So we're in other words, we're slowly through gradations, bringing you away from the world in a way that you don't even have to be a part of. You just get to lay there and it's done to you. Versus with yoga, you actually are actively involved in the asana, the pranayama, the meditation. So in Ayurveda, that we say when vata gets so extremely deranged, imbalanced, when our anxiety and stress gets so high, in other words, and who can relate to this out there is like that you have moments when your stress is so high that even you can't get yourself to sleep, right? Or even you can't calm yourself down, you're in a panic attack or what have you, right? People even pass out and things like this from stress. So really these therapies of Abhyanga, that's how powerful they really are, is that they're something that not only can you do for yourself, but you also can go when you're in a space that you can't even contain your own prana and get your thoughts and minds back under your own control, then you can actually go to a Panchakarma or an Ayurvedic massage therapist, and they can actually help to put you into that state, which I think is really profound because especially in the West, many of us get ourselves so wound up that we end up in that state, right? We end up at a 10 plus on the stress scale. So, but if we're able to do the Abhyanga on a daily basis, then what happens is we never get to that 10, right? We don't even get above a 4, you know, in that day, most days.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. Because you're tempering all of that. You're coming back home. You're never left stranded.
Yes.
And that's what happens when we get all stressed out. We feel stranded.
Yes.
We feel alone, but alone in a way that is very fearful.
Yes.
And so when we can come home daily like that, we understand we're never alone, right?
Exactly.
And that extreme that just doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you know, with your daily asana and pranayama and meditation, Abhyanga is the exact same, but from the Ayurvedic lens. It's a way of bringing you back to that zero base of zero stress. And then all the other added benefits, very similar to yoga, by the way, the benefits, because again, yoga is primarily helping the prana to flow in the system and to release the psychological blockages and physiological toxin blockages that are preventing that, so that the long-term disease is reduced, right? Our tendency to get sick is reduced. So what are some of the benefits of Abhyanga, right? I mean, we've probably listed at least 50 today already, but one of them is also longevity. Just like that longevity factor of like not falling ill, like, you know, aside from the immunity, it's like having this longer life, but also higher quality life if we've
Right.
been,
And
right?
that's the key, the quality of the life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. Wait, I think, oh my gosh, I'm hoping that everybody now one thing though, Tracy, I know what it is, but can you explain what Panchakarma is?
Yeah, Panchakarma are these five. Pancha means five, and then karma is actions. So it's these five cleansing or detoxification processes that are used in traditional Ayurveda to help remove the doshas from the body that are in excess. When certain parameters are met, Panchakarma is indicated. Um, Panchakarma, there's one cleansing action for each dosha. So we do enemas to help reduce the excess vata in the system, the excess waste gases in the colon and in the system, the dryness, etc. We use purgation for excess pitta, which means you would take herbs orally and they would pretty strongly help you to evacuate and pull all of the acidic toxins out of the system, the pitta out and down, out through the bowels. We've got emesis, which is called vamana, for excess kapha, excess sticky mucus energy of the body out of the stomach. Is actually in the lungs, if that helps. And then we've got nasya, which is actually, so that those clean all of the three doshas, vata, pitta, kapha. Then we've got nasya, which is actually the cleaning of the doshas out of the head area. We say it treats everything like from the clavicle up. It'll remove the excess doshas that are residing there, like somebody has excess vata that's causing a stiff neck or a jaw or headaches, it'll support that. And then we've got Rakta Mokshana, which is bloodletting, and we use the leeches for that traditionally. But in modern Ayurveda, we use more herbs. In America, we use herbs more. So those are more for toxic blood conditions, or more like boils and skin conditions, obstinate skin conditions, various things that are treated with that. So those are the five panchakarmas. But panchakarma is not usually, it's not always indicated for every person, especially the Western client is so actually weak. Yeah. The challenge with the West is we're toxic and we're weak. So panchakarma can be, you have to be careful with panchakarma for our clients, and more rejuvenation, or what we call shamana, is indicated, which is more palliation, equal, simultaneously gently cleansing while simultaneously gently tonifying the client.
Okay. Well, you used the word, and I wanted to make sure that everybody knew what panchakarma was.
Okay. You didn't need to go that far, Traci.
No, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood, because for somebody that doesn't know anything about Ayurveda, so well, what's panchakarma? She keeps, so I just wanted to make sure that they
yeah, what is panchakarma?
Right, because we take it for granted, we know, right?
Yeah. Panchakarma in the West is like a week-long, 3 hours every day of massage experience while eating khichdi every day.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and it's very beneficial, but it has to be done by someone who knows what they're doing.
Yes.
To take panchakarma upon
ourselves. It's incredibly transformative, beautiful, glorious experience for all involved, even the practitioners. It's there. There's some realms that you enter as in that massage world is very deeply spiritual and otherworldly. You're literally entering other realms with your clientele. It's incredible. Think of them as the golden realms. Very, very divine spaces. Yes.
Yes. Well, that's why I think of you as this facilitator. For that divine space, Yeah. Yeah, it's true. All righty. Okay, so what Abhyanga? What do we do, Traci? Now we have all this information, and I hope all of you that are watching this understand how valuable this is. So how do we do it? What do we do, and how do we do it?
Yeah, so how do we do Abhyanga? So Abhyanga, to physically do the Abhyanga is very simple, and anyone can do it. I'm trying to think, like, when you would not want to do it, like some contraindications would be like you're having a fever or a flu, or you're maybe feeling nauseous, or you've been drinking alcohol. Like, there are certain contraindications to doing Abhyanga, and those would be some of them. And so how do you do Abhyanga? You're going to take some oil, and there's lots of options how you do this, but you essentially want to warm up some oil of choice. The common oil that we use in Ayurveda is sesame oil, which is called tiltylum, but just regular unrefined organic sesame oil is great. If you can get more an herbal Ayurvedic oil, that's even more medicinally beneficial and powerful because the oil itself is quite heavy and it has just the properties of the oil. But when you actually cook it and decoct it down with the herbs, you actually get the fat and water soluble properties of the herbs. Plus you get all of the Shakti, all of the kind of special secret sauce of the herbs imparted into that, the intelligence, divine intelligence. And part of that divine intelligence is like where to go in the system, how to open up the channels to properly support the oil to enter, etc. So having the oils in is another like bonus points, and bonus points on top of that is having an oil that has essential oils in it. So the essential oils really actually do support the opening of the minute channels to allow the properties to enter. And so, and they help clear vibrational toxins and things as well, and emotional toxins. So those are like 3 layers of benefits, just medicinal benefits, just from what you anoint with. And sesame oil is really revered in Ayurveda because it really does penetrate deeply to the different tissues. It doesn't quite, where ghee actually will go very deeply into the ojas, sesame oil to really do a more powerful improvement of your immune system, you want to have some herbs in there that support building of your immunity, something like guduchi or shatavari or ashwagandha. But the sesame oil very much penetrates to the 7 tissues, and then it's going to bring those herbs into the 7 tissues. And likewise, the herbs and essential oils will help to bring the other components of that oil into the deeper tissues and into the immune system. So you're going to choose your oil of choice. For vatas, we like sesame oil. For pittas, we like ghee, and or you can use olive oil or sunflower oil, or in the summer or when it's liquid at room temperature, you can use coconut oil. Coconut oil is very full of lunar energy. We call it very somogenic. So if you're going to use that, be sure that it's like melted so that it's hot enough, in other words, that it's very, high in saturated fat. So it'll be solid at room temperature if it's cooler. And that means it can block the system. It can block your pores. And it also, when it gets into your system, it can also start to block up things like your vascular system if you live like in Alaska or something and it's winter and you're using it. So, and for kaphas, you can use sunflower oil, olive oil. You can use a little bit of mustard seed oil, which you can actually get some of that now organically online. Organic. We didn't used to be able to get organic mustard seed oil 20 years ago. So it's like, yay, we can get that. And mustard seed is really hot and penetrating, but very stimulating and full of prana. For a true kapha, they can use it or dilute it with a little bit of olive oil or sunflower seed oil. The other great oil for vata and actually for the nervous system is almond oil. Almond oil is really revered for just whenever you want to tonify or calm the nervous system more. So that's kind of the base oils you'll use. You use about an ounce. It depends on who you are. Sometimes I might use 3 ounces that day. It just depends on how much. So you're going to basically fill in a little saucepan with your oil and warm it up and take it to your bathroom. There's all different options. You can put it in a little plastic squeeze bottle and, with a flip top lid and just keep it there and put that in a cup of hot water in the morning. Yeah. However you want to do it. They even have those little copper like lamps where you can put the oil on top. It's like a little bowl on top and a little candle goes underneath. That's a very sattvic way. That's how we used to do it in the massage, in the classes. And then it very sattvically will heat that oil. And then essentially you're going to, now just before I go into the details, the main goal of this is that you, again, vary with consciousness, with presence, with the energy of like receiving this practice of being the receiver of a massage. Just to anoint the body with oil. Everything else is just side benefits that we'll talk about next of how to do it. But just the main role, again, is to be with mindfulness and presence, lovingly receiving that experience. And
so do you think setting an intention or a sankalpa for this?
Yes.
For this.
Yes. Person? Yes. Margie, that's next level. Yes. Yes. Absolutely, because as you said, this is actually a daily ritual. If we look at the Vedic ritual of like I'm trying to think, Abhishekam, this ritual of anointing the deity or the lingam with the milk, with the panchamrit, with the oil, whatever they're anointing with. That's it's such a beautiful, what I would say, like even an outer expression of what we're doing when we're doing our self massage. And I always felt that way with the massage clients. You're literally ritualistically worshiping this divine being. This is what we're doing, like in the Hindu traditional rituals, right? The Abhishekam. So and that quality, that lingam, by the way, it represents the soul. We think it's like the phallus and the penis, but it really, the linga is the soul. Mm-hmm. So it's the soul, and it's sitting in the yoni, the container, the physical body, the feminine, the shakti, the outer, the prakriti. And then what is the abhishekam? The ojas, the abhyanga, the anointing, the connecting field between the soul and the body. In Ayurveda, we're taught that our soul and our body are bonded in our heart by these 8 drops, these ashtabindu of our pada ojas. So there's these 8 drops of this supreme nectar of our ojas that if we were to lose these drops, we would die. These are like the glue that binds your soul to your body. So I love that Abhishekam expression, that it's really about this anointing and ritualistic worshiping through the daily Abhyanga oil. In my world as an Ayurveda person, through the daily Abhyanga, and that we're really strongly unifying our soul and bringing it back home and welcoming it back home to our body. Isn't that just so beautiful, right?
So beautiful. Yeah, so beautiful. Yes.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it was a moment, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the intensity of it and the beauty of it. Because, and when I say intensity, I mean it in a positive way.
Oh, yeah.
Of being able to tell ourselves how divine we are, how loved we are, right?
Absolutely.
And let that be our intention for this.
Let that be the intention. Your sankalpa, that's what got us on that conversations. Yes, bringing your awareness back to what is your intention for this.
Yes. Okay. And then, okay, so then what do we do?
So what I suggest for everybody is you're going to get into your bathtub. You have your oil there sitting on the side of your tub. In some way you can draw your candles and all of the beautiful things. And then essentially you're going to start with your belly. You're going to pour the oil into your palm of your hand, or get it into the palm of your hand, and start with your belly, the center of your being. Again, there's 101 ways to do your Abhyanga. And trust me, I've learned from many different lineages how they do their Abhyanga. They're all a little different. But at the core of it, again, anointing with love, with our intention for well-being. And so starting with the belly, everywhere we go on the body that has the potential to have a circle massaged around it, we massage with the circle. So we start with the belly, we do circles around the belly. You also can do then circles around your sacrum. This is actually the seat of Vata, the Apana Kshetra, is like the lower womb space, the original space of where disease happens. So we go right to where that is. And it's also because that area needs grounding and soothing and mothering and nurturing. And so you can do both on the front and then the back in the same way. And then you can do your whole chest and breast, the same thing, circular. So you might, and I know traditionally we're taught to like so many counts, like 7 rounds of circles on the left breast and 7 circles on the right breast. But actually, I have found that can be putting us more into our logical mind, and putting us into our taking us out of our heart into our head, right?
Yeah, I tend to do it intuitively.
Yes.
I know it's time to move on, and it's not the same every day.
It's not the same every day. And actually, I encourage that it wouldn't be the same. Right. And all of Ayurveda, there is the science, just like when you learn to ride a bike, right? You learn to ride your bicycle. You had to learn that the right foot goes on the right pedal, the left foot on the left pedal, the right hand on the right handlebar, left hand on the left handlebar, and then you start and do your thing, right? So we learn the tactile, we learn the outer senses, we learn the science, we learn the logic, we learn the reason and the order and all of it. But at the heart of healing is, like you said, the heart of healing is healing the heart.
And the more you practice, the more you tune into that, right?
Absolutely, yes. The more you practice, the more you're going to tune into it. And you'll get into that intuitive flow of what does my body need in this moment, in this day, with what I've been walking through in my life in this day, right? And or what I'm going to be walking through in this day. What do I most need this morning to support me, energetically speaking? So yes, so we massage the abdomen, we massage the sacrum. You might also massage your hips. That might also be a prime. This is also primary vata zone of the body. So circular motions around the hips. And then you're going to massage along your long bones of your arms and legs, just in back and forth motions, but you can do whatever you like. You can have it be, you know, whatever you like. You might actually need some more kneading massage that day. Maybe you had a stronger yoga workout or something, your shoulders want some more massage. But essentially anointing the body with oil and making sure that you're trying your best to get the oil everywhere. Okay. If you have on your joints, traditionally we like to do circles on our joints, but you don't have to. You can be very much in the flow. I know when I was younger, I was very detailed and in my Pitta prime more, right? So it was all about the it's like as we're moving into Vata phase of life, we're in the flow, right? And I think honestly, in hindsight, if only I had known that then, right? So for all of you in your 20s that might be listening, like just follow your intuition and allow that inner light to guide you, right? Wherever it's meant to be placed. So, and essentially you can move from the upper area of your body, you can do your whole face, your ears, you can dip your middle fingers there into the oil and massage your inside your ears. Oh. We have all the benefits we could review later of the imbalances that you can treat, like stiff neck and stiff jaw and preventing of deafness and things like that, from just putting a little oil into the ears each day and being sure to actually massage the ears themselves. The ears are really a powerful seat of reducing Vata, actually. So massaging the ears,
that pulling of the ears out, right? That making that space a little bit. Do you recommend that, Traci? Because that feels so good to me when I'm doing it.
If it feels good to you, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Okay. During Abhyanga, that's the general rule of thumb. There are other therapies who would say if it's hurting you, right, yeah. If you're a kapha, right?
Right.
But yes, it's up to you. It feels good to you. Okay. So I also want to say, like, the skin is associated mostly with air element, so it gets dry. And the ears are associated with space element, so we can get ungrounded and even have ringing in the ears and tinnitus, things like that. So these are the two elements that make up Vata, right? Is ether and air. And so when we massage, especially the skin, which is by the way, the skin is, again, it's a sensory organ. It means it's linked very intimately with your nervous system. In fact, there's trillions of nerve cell endings in your skin. So like you described earlier, Margie, when we anoint the skin with warm oil, it's like we are putting a warm blanket over the nervous system, because the skin equals the nerves. That's why people have a lot of skin issues when they have a lot of stress.
Right. Yes.
So we're going to massage the whole body, arms and legs. You can do the arms next if you'd like. Also your upper back and your neck and shoulders. You can even come across your neck and shoulders.
I love that. It feels so good when you do that.
It does.
There's something to this motion here.
Yes, it is. Well, this is actually partially helping to support the bringing each of these strokes and Ayurvedic massage. They're actually specifically realigning a different aspect of the flow of the vayus. So they relate to the vayus. So like actually as we're coming down at all, it's soothing to Udana Vayu, which is this upward moving energy. Like if we've been talking too much or speaking, teaching, it is really soothing for that, right? Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to massage the shoulders as well, with round circles if you'd like. And you can do your best to reach under your arms on each side to get the backs of you and the sides of you. And then essentially you're going to lastly do your legs. And it depends on the client, what feels good to them, but usually, especially this time of the year, Vata season, it's good to end with the legs last. because what that'll do is it'll bring all of that apana energy, the downward moving energy, which is it's the root of the body. It roots us into the earth. It'll end with the root being activated. And what it's really doing is it's pulling your prana, your life force, out of your head into your feet, so that you remain more grounded throughout the day. You'll notice, you may notice that. And so the same on the legs. You can do strokes up and back on the long bones of the legs, and then circles at the joints of the hips and knees and ankles. So we just were finishing talking about how to finish off the Abhyanga just by massaging your feet. And it's nice, then you would draw your bath. So the other key component that makes Abhyanga like doubly powerful is if you're able to follow it with a warm bath. And that's especially true, on the colder days, but just in general, it adds another layer, another dimension of healing. And so you'll start to see your bathtub really, it does become one of your primary healing centers in your home. And the water, what it does is it's not only adding more soma to your system, but it's now adding the warmth. And what the heat will do is it'll help you to break a gentle sweat, which will help to sweat out the impurities, and also to allow the oil into your system to draw all the herbs and essential oils in to do more healing. The other key component of the bath is that it's allowing for the channels to be totally opened. And so again, that's a state of bliss where the soma is flowing and the disease is not able to happen, right? So it's really a big part of it. And you'll see after just one, all of you out there, just invite you to just experiment with even one round of giving yourself a massage followed by that warm bath. And how long to stay in the bath, it really depends on you. We usually say to the point where you're breaking a sweat. So it might be 10 minutes, it might be 15 minutes. For some of you, it might be 20 minutes. It really varies. But you can stay in there, to the point of breaking a sweat and a little bit beyond that, but not to the point of excess, I would say. That's where you might get dizzy. You could even pass out as you get up or things like that if you stayed in too long.
So. And what about the person that doesn't have a bathtub?
Yeah, if they don't have a bathtub, to do a hot shower after, a warm shower, a hot shower.
Okay.
So that will, the point is to diaphoresis, help them to break a sweat, to open the channels, to let the medicines in and the toxins out. So as best as they can do that. Another alternative might be if they don't even, for whatever reason couldn't do that, they can also wrap themselves in a large bath towel or even a blanket to help themselves to break a gentle sweat, or get the bathroom really hot to where while they're massaging that they're breaking a sweat a little bit.
Okay, so you want that factor, that perspiration factor then.
Yeah, but not to excess. If they're doing it every day, just to the point where they break a sweat to open the channels is enough.
Okay.
The sweating, again, is like exercise. It can be depleting if done in excess.
Right.
Or even exacerbate some pitta conditions.
Yeah.
And that would actually be a contraindication if somebody really has inflamed skin issues. It may not be the best thing to follow the massage with a bath. They might do even a cooler bath kind of a thing, like not having hot water.
Or just a hot shower maybe, or a warm shower, so that they're not totally immersed in the water, right?
Yes. For a pitta, yeah, to have cool baths, cool showers will be better for their skin conditions.
Okay. And then in my mind, the way I look at it, that heat also opens up the pores for you to be able to absorb that oil more easily, right?
Yes, that's exactly. So those channels, they encompass all of the trillions of pores, right? The pores are part of the channels that we're talking about here, in the vascular system, the lymphatic system, all of it. Yes.
Now, do we do anything with the top of our head? I know there's sometimes recommended that you do a little oil in the fontanella, right? That part right there.
Exactly. So if you can, at least once a week, oil your whole scalp and head.
Okay.
If you can't do, if you can do a little bit every day, put that oil in your hand and put your finger there, and just go. Actually, how you find it is you can put the root of your palm against your root of your nose, and you just relax your finger, your middle finger. Where it falls is usually that
right there.
Yeah. So we call that our Adipati Marma. And so that's considered the overlord, where the prana enters. It's actually where the prana enters the system. So And when you can, just anoint a few drops of oil to that space every day, a little bit when you're doing your massage, that'll be great. But once a week, if you're able, and you can do 3 to 7 clockwise circles. If you have a mantra, you can be chanting it while you do that. So that nerve impulse, yeah, it's really, that point is the point of entry of prana into your system. We have prana coming in many ways, even through our skin in general, but it's a very direct flow of a lot of energy into our system. And what it does is it bifurcates out to each and every organ and tissue and system all of the life force that it needs to sustain them, to create the intelligence and the flow of the energy, et cetera, that it needs. So when we can give that a little bit of attention every day, that's a really important point for helping you have energy and to kind of actually help to clean up a lot of the, we say the EMF toxins from your system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So which they actually come into the system there. So EMF is like a false form of prana. Mm-hmm. It's man-made, it's not even man-made. We have also electricity toxins from like lightning and things like that. It's how actually Ayurveda learned about EMF toxicity, was from when the monsoons would come and the people would be near the lightning bolts where they would strike, they would have these certain symptoms. And it's basically the EMF symptoms that we have today. So Ayurveda actually treats EMF. Maybe that's something for our next conversation or something.
Yeah.
But as I'm talking about, I'm like, oh, I don't know if Margie knows about this.
I don't know about this, and that's so important, especially in this day and age.
It's so important. We can talk about it, but it's considered the primary toxin of this era. Mm-hmm. So much in Ayurveda, we're always hearing about, the ama. Actually, the EMF ama is the ama of this day and age, followed by the chemical toxins. So
yeah, let's do another one with that, Traci,
okay,
because I think that would be really valuable.
Yeah,
because we're so unaware of it, and it's all around us.
Totally, absolutely, it's everywhere. So yes, that marma, to massage that a little bit every day with a little oil, anoint it, will be very, very good for you on a regular basis. And then once a week, massage your whole scalp and hair, all the way out to the ends of your hair. And then you can get in the bathtub and have that, letting the oil sit on your skin and your hair for that 20 minutes. You get a hot oil treatment to your hair every week.
Do we do that at the end?
You can do it at the beginning. It's up to you. On the day when you do that, let's say it's a Saturday or Sunday, you might do your hair first so that it's even sitting on you for the 10 minutes while you're massaging, plus the 20 minutes in the bath. The longer the oil is able to sit on your hair and body, the better.
Right. Yeah, that 20 minutes before you even get in the water, just sitting there with it. I enjoy that stillness. Mm-hmm. Doing the massage, and then just stillness, observing what's happening, mm-hmm. how my body's reacting, and how it's incredible.
It is incredible. It's so incredible. I can feel it from you. Yes, it's so incredible. And you want that, how long to let the oil sit on your physical body? If you can, for 20 minutes. We say it takes 3 minutes for each tissue for the oil to go deeper to each of the 7 tissues. So 7 times 3 is 21. So about 20 minutes. Okay. And then you'll have the full effect of the oil benefits to all the tissues.
Okay. Wow, Traci. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful to you.
Aww.
I am, because I hope everybody realizes how much this is going to benefit them if they put it into practice.
I hope so too. Well, thank you so much for having me. Your community is so lucky to be having you as their guiding light through this process, of healing, their healing journey. They're healing right along with you. So, so very blessed. So thank you.
Have to share, right? That's
Yes.
all it's all about.
Yes.
Thank you for being
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. I know.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.